It's kind of like when you see a dog walking down the street with a person and you're like, oh my gosh, what's your dog's name? Like, you ask all about the dog, you don't really ask about the people. I feel like everyone asks about the oven.
Curiosity peaks when you walk down Center Street and see the student housing that has a garden, chickens, and an outdoor oven. This garden is from the curious mind of Cal Poly software engineer major Will Fuchs.
It's really stressful.
With the help of his girlfriend since high school, Sierra Brill.
This wasn't really a space you could hang out in before. It was just kind of like a overgrown lot, and now it's like a space we can come in and hang out at.
After remodeling the garden, Fuchs and his roommates had an idea. What if they started a business selling bread out of their front yard?
We kind of did like a market survey and figured out people would actually buy the bread, and thought, well, I don't want to be baking it all inside, so let's build this oven that can bake like 30, 40 loaves at a time, and then go big with this, and so that's what we did.
But how did they create the bread oven?
One of our friends who we actually met through running camp, sounds kind of nerdy, but yeah, we went to a running camp. One of the counselors lives in SLO, and so we stayed in touch after camp, and he showed us around his garden, and his family built a pizza oven, and we thought it was really cool. So we found some designs that like he used and then the internet had, and we kind of made our own mashup of it.
So there's a 3-inch thick slab of concrete here, and then like a cinder block base, and it's sand, bottle, like old beer bottles, and like pumice. So there's just kind of like a few rules of thumb that go into it, but there's a lot of, you can do a lot wrong and still have it work pretty well.
But the project hasn't been without its hiccups.
One of our neighbors came out and he wanted to help, and he put just one piece on, and then it all collapsed. He felt so bad. It was not his fault at all. It was doomed. It was doomed from the beginning.
And while the original oven took over a month to build, this week Fuchs and Brill decided to demolish it.
So we thought we were going to be able to get 4 or 5 loads of bread through.
It loses heat pretty quickly.
And the oven just didn't work quite as well as we wanted it to for bread. Really great for pizza, not so great for bread, so we couldn't really meet the demand of people wanting to buy the bread.
And just like that, the old oven is gone.
Definitely been a really nice space to like hang out when sometimes we have pizza nights where we like come out here and bake pizza and we're all hanging out. Fun thing to do with parents when they come through town.
So what do Fuchs' roommates think of having a bread business and farm in their front yard?
I was a little bit, I questioned it a little bit at first, but the more I thought about it, the more I was for it, just because, I mean, fresh chicken eggs sounds really nice, and he was doing all the heavy lifting, so he made the entire chicken coop, so I wasn't complaining.
Fuchs says there is always someone that is interested in the garden, and Center Street residents recognize the roommates by the name The Bread People.
Since we haven't been baking for a while because we're trying to build this new oven, people have come up when I'm out here working and like asked when we're going to start baking bread again. So I think it's people seem to appreciate it, which I really like. I'm kind of bummed that it's been only during COVID though, because this would be a fun thing to have like a block pizza night, you know, or something like that, where like everyone just chips in a few bucks and we just crank out a bunch of pizzas. Like that's what I'm really looking forward to, is when we can utilize the full community potential, I guess.
So in the meantime, the Bread People will continue refining their craft.